when you ask where this is going, that happens more so to the girls, because we always want to know what is going to happen next, what this guy is thinking. But that is a forbidden question in situationship. Why would you want to ask where we are going? Because we are going nowhere. Yeah, so you don't have to ask that. And then the other thing about situationship is like they crave for your presence, your energy, your time, your everything. But again, don't want the responsibility that comes with all that you get. So I think situationships are not good at any moment. Then ladies, we shall wait for this guy to come to me. In most cases, when someone comes to you, you realize this person likes me even when they don't say anything. You realize. So to the men, when they come to us, the ladies, in most cases, you are going to keep all of them during dating. You're going to keep all of them as you are ticking their boxes. This is good. This one does that as well. This one does that as well. You get. But then for the men, it's them that make that move to the ladies. And that man is going to be seeing me and Agnes and you Asimwe at the same time with no intentions yet, but to see who is he going to choose and make us stay up, you get. Yeah, that's what I think about dating. Then with courtship, yeah, I think it is self-explanatory to all of us. This is where you are committed, the intention is clear, that everything is clear and all that.
Situationships are popular, they are. Situationships are popular, and especially among Christian youth. So, why do you think they are? What do you think they are?
I think situationships are popular because they are healthy.
Are they
Situationships are really healthy. You are enjoying every bit. Okay, they were telling me situationships are healthy more than real relationships. I mean, you are enjoying every bit of the situationship that you are in, even when you very well know that it is going nowhere. But it is really nice, just that it is popular nowadays because people fear making wrong decisions. If I am if I'm in a situationship with someone, probably this person is not yet sure of me, even when we are in that situationship. One of the reasons is that they fear to make that wrong decision of having me for life, yet they cannot handle some part of me. You understand? There are some things that I might do or that he knows about me, but he cannot handle them for the rest of their lives. And he doesn't know how to go about that. They don't want to end the situationship because they are still enjoying, but they have that one thing that is stopping them from making a step, you get, to that actual relationship. Then the other point is that fear of rejection. In most cases, we the women tend to love men, to be in situationships with men. But when sometimes this man is sure that when I make a step, I'm going to lose this person. Yeah, that is so true. And that is what holds them, and they are like, no, I'm not going to make this step, but let me enjoy at least this time that I have her. And when that time comes, it will just happen. It in most cases happens gradually, that you cut the communication, and Have you heard of these people? We broke up, but it was not communicated. It is not known to both of us.
Nothing was clear.
Yeah, nothing is clear, but we are not talking anymore. When we meet, we are fine, we are good, but nothing is clear. Yeah, so that is how it happens. Then the other thing as to why situationships are popular is desire for emotional and physical closeness without responsibility. Yeah. When you are, as humans, we have that sense of belonging. If I am here right now, I have no one looking out to me. I'm not in a relationship. I have no one to call me in the night for those late night calls.
The good night one.
I have no one to invite me for those movies, dates, or anything. I feel so lonely. So, in the end, I remember, oh, this guy, he can do this for me even without asking for anything from me or like that, you get. So I'll find myself in a situationship, but I very well know behind my mind that I'm not taking this man anywhere. But because I don't want to go home early, and he used to invite me for movies or something or like that, I'm going to keep in that situationship, you understand? And
The audience is in agreement.
and it is actually not good because it brings that attachment. And the moment you decide to get out of this situationship, it is in most cases hard for us. More so for us, the ladies, it is actually so hard for us. And yet it is easy for these men to move on. Yeah, I don't know why, but that is it. So I think that's what I would say about the reasons as to why situationships are so popular. And they are even popular in our church.
Interesting. Very interesting. Thank you for that take. So, personally, I think situationships are really undefined, like something undefined, as you say that it makes no sense and totally relatable in our church mostly. And when you say situationship, someone can think it's something outside there, like it's not in the church, but it is because you, it's not that we have different blood, it's the same blood, it's the same behavior. So I believe if it's happening, then it's happening, and it needs to be talked about. So, what are the dangers of staying in something undefined? What is it?
Thank you so much. I thank you for letting me know that we have situationships in church because I did not know actually.
They are there.
Honestly, I
can
did not
assure
know
you.
we have situationships in church. But thank you for that. You people don't believe me. You should.
Please believe her. She did know.
I'll first go back to what you are saying on causes of situationships among the youth. I feel like the youth at the moment are so biased about relationships, are so biased about marriage, which is something that we really need to work on. And one of the reasons they are biased are the reasons she gave. People do not want to commit. People do not want to account for their actions. And I want to tell you people that you're actually missing out on the good side of not being in a relationship.
She's warning you.
Yeah. Because I mean, don't you people love being accountable for what you do? Like, I just want to answer why I was late. I just want to answer. You need to work on that. So,
Don't you?
dangers of staying in something undefined for long. I feel like sometimes you can actually be in a relationship, not a situationship, but you stay for long. And when you stay for long, in most cases, it has lost definition because if you're saying this is courtship and then we are staying for 9 years, like what's up? What's not happening?
What is
So-
that?
in that journey, you're going to lose focus. You're going to lose focus because at the beginning, we're all excited about starting a family, visiting each other's parents, but it's now 10 years. Like, what do you mean, sir? Where is this going? So you lose focus. You actually lose. Do we still want a family as a woman? Like she said, women, we always fear asking these questions like, so what next? So in our fear of asking those questions, you lose focus. You're not sure if this man still wants me or is just comfortable being with me. So you have lost focus, and when you lose focus, definitely, you have no goal, you're not going anywhere. And another danger is that you are going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes because you do not know what you're doing, and there is no tomorrow, there is no goal for this. So either you're going to make some babies that both of you do not want, or I'm going to come back home, or I see the news that you have someone else that I did not know about. This side, I'm actually thinking I am in a relationship with you, and then you have some other person. And I feel like that is so common these days. Actually, always say, do not let your girlfriend, do not let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband. So you'll be in a relationship
That is
as
real.
a girlfriend, and Mr. Man will be busy looking for his wife. So do not stay in that situationship for long. Another thing is you are going to waste time, because what are we doing for 9 years? Like, especially on the side of women, I am growing every day, and the more you grow, probably beauty is decreasing. Maybe I'm even gaining weight. Like, I'm not going to look good in my gown, or I'm not going to be that happy. So you waste time. Imagine knowing someone for 9 years, thinking you are in a relationship, you've been committed for all the 9 years, and at the end of that 9 years, they tell you, you know what, I've actually found a wife. Where do you start from as the girlfriend? So yeah, staying in something for so long makes you waste a lot of time, and of course, time wastages can hurt you so bad, and sometimes you do not know how to go back, or to go back to the market. Yeah.
People, there is a market.
Yes,
You
there
believe
is
there
a
is a
market.
market?
There is a market.
There is a market. Thank you for that take. Very interesting. Ah, okay. Something undefined, that's not what you want. And it's what is happening. At times you don't even know.
Okay, about staying in something that is not real, it is actually bad, more so to us the women. Because at this point, we are in a relationship and everyone at church knows. After 9 years, this man is going to invite that same church for wedding meetings with another woman.
At a different church.
It can be at the same church. These Adventist men are.
Wow.
And my name has been painted with this guy's name for 9 years. You get. I have been sending away men who liked me for 9 years. And then this guy, okay, I just want to say, if you feel like that thing is a situationship or it is not real, dear sweet woman, end it as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
However, we said you can only move out when it has no direction. Please do not put these men on pressure to marry you. They have it in plan. Do not put them on pressure, but in the waiting, make it clear to this man that one day when you wake up and you feel like you do not like me anymore, or you like me any less, let me know and I move. But when the man has an intention and is working on something, kindly do not put them on pressure.
Thank you. So we've established no pressure. Please, take up pressure. You put the pressure down. This people are intentional. There's some that are intentional. Linda, that is very interesting because it's real. It also happens of being with someone for years and they already see you with them, you talk to them. At times, even previously, it's like someone can be like, hey, when Linda comes, she greets us with a smile, but when she's greeting you, it's an extra smile. You know, a double smile, like banana, like with excitement. So people, define something before you define it. So when you leave someone like that, then you get to another woman. You know, please, Adventist men, let's do some revision, please. So our next question is, what is courtship and how is it different from worldly dating? Thank you. Rona, that is yours. Can I have your section?
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you see, we can spin around this for a year, an entire year. But let me just ask a question, an open question. Before you dive into something, do you have objectives as to why? Honestly speaking, how can a guy date you for 9 years when he's not delivering the so promised land?
Is that even dating? That is a course and more.
At the end of the day, you're not going to blame the other party for yourself not being decisive. Okay? You see, at the end of the day, as you said, as a young lady, I am not going to date you for 9 years and keep promising you A up to Z. At the end of the day, I am good at satisfying your emotional needs, but the physical aspects are nowhere to be seen. And you are comfortable for that. What do we look for in a relationship? If you are confused about that, you're going to become a victim of circumstance. Okay? And we're going to keep blaming the men. The men are going to keep blaming you. Like, no, she's not someone I thought she was. Come on. You see, at the end of the day, if you have clear intentions of what you want, and he doesn't seem to deliver, maybe he's not the one God sent for you. I think it's courage to cut him off. Exactly. Because I know it is very, very hurting for someone to waste your time, okay? Let's put that aside. Let me go back to the question. What's courtship, right? Exactly. And could you please rephrase the question again?
What is courtship and how is it different from worldly dating?
All right. I'm going to give you two forms of dating. We have what you call casual dating and exclusive dating. Okay? Casual, no strings attached. I don't expect you to call me. I don't expect you to ask me why I didn't call you or why. No. I love you when I'm there. Okay? We have this moment. We go into Disneyland. And then when I am out of the emotion, don't ask me why. Okay? They all alluded to that. Okay? Situationships. Now, the exclusivity is where someone has clear intention. Okay? He has purpose. Okay? That means the person has worked, they've done their homework in communication. Guys, 9 years you're with a guy. What communication are you having with this guy? Okay? What things do you talk about behind closed doors? Okay, he has come over to his home, or to your home, or you have come over to his home. What things do you talk about? Are you going to make love for 9 years behind closed doors and you don't talk about tomorrow? No, ladies and gentlemen, this is a characteristic of our generation. That is why in my research, courtship was defined as an old tradition, an old-fashioned tradition. Why? You see, they always tell you, ladies, you're supposed to behave like this if a man is to marry you, or if you're to be categorized as marriage material. Look at the generation we're talking about here. That is why, you see, it is categorically wrong to say, I didn't think situationships existed in church. Because you're not so special. We are all Gen Zs or millennials, okay? It's very much possible that out of 10 of the people inside here, not all of us came from Katika MSDA to go to university, okay? I'm a clear example. I have been in non-Adventist schools. I want you to imagine the kinds of girls I've been exposed to. And yet I have been born in an SDA family. But the girls I started to admire have no attribution to church. Now, it is only when you grow up that you realize you're chasing the wind. Exactly. Because she's beautiful, but she's going to deliver an entire different world or tradition a supposed relationship that the church teaches you. Okay? Now, those are facts. Exactly. What are the characteristics of our generation? Exactly. You see, these young people don't want to be burdened with responsibility. In other words, we want fast things. I don't want to call them cheap. Fast things. If she wants you there and then. Ladies and gentlemen, for a relationship to be meaningful, it takes two to tango. You must invest. Bill Gates did not become a billionaire by taking a lottery or a gamble bet. No. He built infrastructure. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. They could have lost it, but they made it. There are thousands of people who have tried to invest in life and they've lost it. That's a relationship. That's a relationship. It's going to require a lot for you to invest. Our generation doesn't want to do the hard work. No. Now, that's courtship. You see, courtship, you single out someone. That means you've done your homework. Okay? Do we do our homework? How many times have you thought of the 5 girls you love? How many times have you looked at their personalities? Have you called her over to dinner and actually observed how she approaches social life, like eating? I'll share an experience. I was on a date. I liked this girl. She was hot. Listen, she was hot. I'm not saying she was beautiful. These are very many different things. I mean, they're clearly different. She was hot. And she looked like someone I would like. It's called dating, right? It's open, right? No strings attached. So I do an investment. Can we have dinner? Yeah. We go for a date and then, you want to be a gentleman. You don't order for a lady. Please, could you order what you want to eat? You know those things. You have some money. You're like, yeah. So the menu is over there. Now, this lady was very undecisive. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, we could eat this and this and this. She looks at me. Waiters are always trained. When a customer comes, they're seated somewhere, you have to attend to them. So they are pestering us. I'm like, relax. Could you please give us some water? Let's go away. She keeps coming back. Have you guys made up your mind? So I order. And she's like, okay, I won't eat that. I'll eat this. So she ordered for something very expensive. I'm like, no, I have some money. It's no problem. Bring. So they bring it over. And then we start eating. You have ordered for something, and then she started complaining. We were in a restaurant whereby most of the people around us were young, like our generation, Now, she started becoming argumentative. She started arguing about the taste of the food. Guys, I am not there for the food. I'm there for you. Okay? At least behave like, you know what I mean? So she was very argumentative. And then for some time, I'm like, wow. Now imagine if this is the lady you're taking home. Okay? I'm like, okay, yeah. She was argumentative. She was rude to the waiter. Very uncalled for. It is our money. It's okay. If the food is bad, we can make a formal complaint. I don't like the food. You don't have to argue with the waiter. Okay? Okay, but that's her personality now. Dating. When you're dating, you are supposed to learn. Our generation, you look at a girl, she's beautiful, you want her straight away. You have not taken time to study who she is. You see this guy, he's cool, he wears well, he speaks well. Apparently, he's a nice guy, right? You want him. You see yourself there beside him. You even have pictures giving him twins. Have you taken time to study the anatomy of this creature? Have you taken time to study the psychology of this creature? At times, they are sweet when they want you. Those are traps. But then he's a psychological psychopath. There are guys who are not patient. I'm telling you, when he knows he has you, you have lost this credibility. Do you know that thing? Just like she said, when you spend a lot of time with a guy, the urge kind of withers away. You are not new to him. And if you cross the boundary of sleeping with a guy, you have lost it all, okay? Sometimes they end up marrying you. Most of the times, it's more of, I've had it all. What else is behind this girl? Nothing, okay? In courtship, you are supposed to have studied, done the homework. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it cannot be a clear courtship when you have not done the homework. Okay? Now, that's the characteristic of our generation. Ladies and gentlemen, communication, fluidity, intention, progress, societal involvement. Those are the checklist boxes we are meant to tick. Do we tick those? Do we tick? How many times do you call a girl? How many times do you call her over for dinner? How many times? Okay, and remember, it's stage built. Okay? You don't meet a girl in the first month and you expect to be going to her home. Okay, you know, she's at the university. What are you doing in her room? But these are guidelines, these are rules we have broken and redefined. As Gen Zs, as millennials. You have seen her for 2 weeks, you're in her bed. You know, you're like, hi, Han, what's up? What are you doing there? What are you doing there? Because the baby steps you have skipped and you have gone to the hardest part. So, ladies and gentlemen, our problem is one, is we always bet the foundation of what is meant to be a beautiful relationship, like eventually on emotions. Emotions, oh, I love this guy, put the love aside. Does he tick these boxes? If you do your homework and he ticks them, that's where we go into courtship. The question he asked me is, if I have really done my boxes, again, I don't expect to be taking a woman who is 100% like perfect. No, okay? She's going to tick some of her boxes, not all of them. No. She's going to take some. When you talk about the beauty, you see, we ladies go by, you see, the beauty of a woman is more than how hot she looks. That is why at the end of the day, she's not going to stay hot the way she is. She will gain some weight when she gives birth. Some ladies stay small, others gain a little bit of weight. So are you going to chuck her for that? And you find men, after having 3 babies with a woman, you can't even have her out for a date. You always want these campus girls because she's out of shape. But that's the woman you made your investment in. The beauty of a woman is more than how she looks. Okay, that's what we aspire for. The problem is we are not doing our homework. We are skipping A, B, C, D to go to Z. Now, the problem is when you go to Z and you have not gone through the process of growth, you have not communicated, that means you're going to end up in a situation whereby if she wants something, because you don't have the mental maturity, you're going to break down. You can't communicate. She seems too much for you. Now you're repulsive. No. I don't think you're the lady I chose for. So, ladies and gentlemen, courtships are still relevant. The problem is we are skipping the primary steps. Exactly. And it's very, very important as a young Christian man that I understand, Ronald, yes, I know the body is demanding. I feel lonely. Making matters worse is after school and you start making money. You feel like you can afford any girl, you know. It's not about being able to have her into your emotional realms. No. If you are not into something, don't start it. Because the problem is girls are meant to be loved. Now, when you start her, she'll even first look at you like you're nothing. Eventually, she's going to lower down her guards. Now, because you don't have a definition of what you want, you're going to waste her time. Circumstantial situationships. Even when we don't know, but that's where we end up. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's primary and it's very important. Courtship is primary. We need it before you marry someone. You must court them. The difference is their rules and guidelines put aside, which we actually don't follow. We use another path, and anyway, that is what you see. People make up after 1 month. Kim Kardashian, she's going to chuck you because she's a billionaire. That is not where you want to be, even though their love seems to be fancy. That relationship is a mess. It's a mess. And I don't think they're happy. That's why they're always on drugs. Okay? Exactly. That's why they're always on drugs. A Christian relationship must follow fundamental steps. And these steps are clear. It's not about reading the Bible. No. It's simple. Intention. You must respect her. She must respect you. There are things you're supposed to do, which I think we should follow. Okay? So I think for me, the line is blurred and it's in between there. There are things we're supposed to do, we don't do. And that is why we end up asking ourselves, is it still relevant? Are courtships relevant or they are old-fashioned? Shooting yourself in the leg. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronald. That is a wonderful take. I love keywords, intentional. Intentional. At times we just follow patterns. At times we follow patterns of maybe what has been happening. So we just decide to follow that. We don't. Majority of us don't use our brains to think, to, you know, to be better, to, I mean, talk to the people that we are with, and that is hurtful, and in the long run, it does not leave things well. So I believe we should be intentional. Please, both actually, it's not only gentlemen. We need to be intentional. Someone can be like, intentional men, intentional. They are intentional men, but they're not going to have tags of I'm intentional, I'm an intentional man. It's just when God helps you and that man is intentional and you as well, at times people lack objective. There are people that don't have their things aligned and they expect maybe a man to have them. You know, I believe this is supposed to be a man having a full, like, having full confidence in themselves and you as well. Then when you meet, that's the constellation. You're two people that are whole and then you're merging. And it's not another person who's competing with you. I think that's why we get things wrong and get disappointed. Thank you so much for that take. Is it too old school, courtship? Is it too old school, and can it work in this generation? This is a generation that is really full of emotions. We work, we study, it's a lot. It's a roller coaster of things. Do you think it's too old school? Do you think this generation would adapt it? Linda, that is you.
I think courtship is not old school. And I think it is needed now than any other time that it has ever been needed. This is the time when the commitment level for both parties is actually high. You know where you are going, you know the intentions, you are committed for everything. And you cannot, like, it is not old school because it is a stage. You cannot just, like he said, you cannot just see someone, you like them, and then tomorrow you are meeting the parents. You have missed a step. But the reason as to why some people say it is old school, it is not needed now, is I think because we think right now, we think that we have to decide for ourselves. That is right, we decide for ourselves. But sometimes when we get to our parents and I take someone to them, they're going to look at them. Probably if they know them, their background and everything, they will have some bit of information they have to give you as the person who is getting into commitment with this person. You understand? I think it is not old school, and it is actually needed. Yeah, that is what I can say.
Thank you, Linda. I personally think it's not old school, and even if it were, it's, you know, there are some old school things we have to pull with us, you know, because they're helpful. As when we're talking to our parents, they tell you things that are beautiful, things that are no longer there. I mean, an auntie of mine was complaining that she does not see girls being on death, genuine death, someone really caring for you, someone maybe like genuine. The genuinity is lacking. She's older, but that's what I think they grew up seeing. That's what they experienced. So they were like, how are you handling these things in your generation? So I think it's not old school, and even if it were, it should be, you know, we should work with it a little as we merge with other things that come with it. Thank you. So, what should be the purpose of a romantic relationship? Because we're here talking about situationships, courtship, dating, and stuff. But what should be the purpose? You know, that there are people that can start something without a purpose, just and it just ends up wasting time. And we know very well that wasting time comes back to you, like you wasted time. So what should be the purpose of a romantic relationship?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you introduce an important parameter, romance. The different stages we've described of a relationship are all profounded on one thing, is romance. You see, ladies and gentlemen, if you are meeting this girl or you are seeing this guy and there is no attraction between the two, it's what we refer to as a platonic relationship. A relationship that is just for just. We are friends. Okay, can we be friends? What you call a friendship zone. In other words, there are no feelings attached. The relationships we are talking about have feelings at stake. Okay? We have feelings at stake. I think I'm clear. I hope I'm clear there. Okay? Exactly. Now heading back to your question is if you rephrase it again,
What should be the purpose of a romantic relationship?
you see, the analogy I'll drive is I want you to imagine you have to travel from here to go to town. Okay? Town is marriage. Okay? Where you are here represents the two parties. It's either you and the other person. Now, for you to get over to another destination, let me say you require a Uber driver, okay? Or a safe border. Or you can actually walk, okay? Yes, the essence is, ladies and gentlemen, for you to be able to drive this car from here to town, is the car must have a driver, it must have fuel, right? Romance is the fuel, okay? It is so readily available. We have the car. It's got me and you, filled with a lot of unidirectional emotions, okay? Me and you. But romance is the essence of the relationship between the two parties, okay? So, being romantic, being cool to each other. Now, how do we become romantic in a relationship? You understand each other. The intention is there. Your association is purposeful. The commitment is there. Good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the more you get fond to the other party, what happens is your boundaries go down. Your boundaries go down. You start becoming vulnerable to them. Now, as a man, as a young Christian man, if I realize that the girl I am courting has become vulnerable to me, how? She has started trusting me. That means there are things she will start giving you a benefit of doubt, okay? That means she's giving you her back, trusting that you won't stab her. The romance is playing the nice guy. It's not disappointing her. That is the romance, actually, okay? In a relationship. That means, you know, a woman is meant to be catered for. You must start gifting her, okay? You're making things sweet. You're spicing them. That is romance. Spicing things up. So it's very, 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 very critical. Because whenever you start spicing up a relationship, then she has a reason to smile every morning. She has a reason to call you. I want you to imagine, you are a nice guy, you are presentable, but you never give this girl any gift. You forget her birthday. I mean, who does that? How do you forget a girl's birthday? You see, okay, you are this kind of guy who understands we are dating modern girls. Okay, you see, our parents never went for dates. Actually, they went for dates, but it wasn't so exclusive like it is now. We have WhatsApp. They never had WhatsApp. Okay? Just like our preacher did. She was talking about the writing. They used to write love letters. We no longer write love letters. It's a WhatsApp thing. Hello, babe. What's up? Yo. Click of a button, and she has the message. I want to see how you're putting on. Tap. You have a selfie. You see, there's no effort. That's the problem. Romance is for you giving this lady a reason to call you in the morning. Okay? It's important. If you are going to call a lady for a date and you're going to come late, okay? You are a mess. Over time, she's going to start realizing patterns of inconsistency in you. It's like, but this guy, that is what the ladies call red flags. Like, this guy seems to be presentable, but he's not fluid. His software has bugs and glitches, okay? If it is a CD, there are those CDs we used to watch, you place it into a DVD player, and then you start sticking it. Where the actual, fun comes, you're like, man, what happens next? It sticks. That is a relationship without romance. So romance is meant to clear these hinges. You see, it's possible we're going to have an argument, right? Which is normal. As a man, you're supposed to figure out, okay, I annoyed her because I promised I would do this, I didn't do it. Now you figure out a way of of reprimanding yourself, of like saying I'm sorry. Okay? You give her maybe a gift and she's like, okay, I like the gift, but I've still not forgiven you. You played a nice guy. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. These things are important because tomorrow you're going to get married, you're going to have all the sex in the world, and tell me, why is it important for you that after 10 years in marriage, you still tell her you're beautiful? That's the essence of romance, ladies and gentlemen. Now that means all the parties involved, I am talking as a guy, but even as ladies, there are things they must do to keep these relationships afloat. Otherwise, your guy is going to start seeing other women who are romantic. You find you are at church. How can another woman start serving food to your guy? How? Because for you, you're banging KB with other girlfriends. How? These are small things, but you have to make sure. You have to make sure he has water. You know, even when he can get the water himself. These are small things. You open that door for her, okay? You do some shopping. When you're home, you try and share the chores. You know, as she's cooking or tendering for the babies, you are washing the plates. You know, you're doing the plates. Does it hurt you? It doesn't hurt you. But you find this is a relationship. Yeah. Okay, carry her. All right. Okay. But I want you to imagine you're in a relationship. Okay, now this is marriage. We haven't got into marriage. Okay. But you're in a relationship and then you never help your wife. Even when the kid is crying, you're like, "Wait, omana wakaba. Omana wakaba. Chimomana, me, I'm watching ball. Omana wakaba." Like, like the burden is on her, okay? But because she knows either way you are the guy, okay? So I think it is important that we need to spice up our relationships. Kati, that is marriage. So even before marriage, it is important for a young man to know that gifting is essential. You gift this girl, and Vanange, gift her where your hand can reach. You don't have to over make statements when you can't afford them. These things that happen to us. I remember just joined high school and they used to give us some money. You know, you're going to school, they're like, Ronald, that is 40K. That's your upkeep for the week. Now, because you're dating high-level girls, you'll be like, you know what? Honey, what do you want? I want a chapu, I want a... So you want to maintain that standard for her. Kumbe, you don't have transport. You're burning through your transport. You burn your transport. Now you're walking back home, but she's happy. Kumbe, they're even picking her. She has a driver, okay? They're driving her back home. You're footing because you've eaten the money for the judge guy. Okay? Now that is not romance. No, that is stupidity. Okay? Romance is you do things you can afford. Actually, for a lady to realize that you love her, you don't have to buy the entire world for her. There are some small things you'll do for her and she'll know you love her. That's called romance. That's the importance of romance in a relationship or keeping it romantic. Mark my words. Relationships that lack these little things are full of friction. They are hot and they are boring and they are dull. So if you are dating a girl and you're not romantic, they're going to steal her away from you. Even if you were a potential partner. Eventually, some guy will come and is very silent. You spend your words, you talk. He does the actions. Takes her away. So it's important. If you have to secure this girl, be romantic. You cannot be born knowing everything. Copy. Okay? Go and ask guys, man, how do you do it? That's our problem. You don't ask. You only want to know how to make love to a girl. Actually, which is even wrong. We must talk about this. When I talk about romance, I'm not talking about sex. Because the Bible clearly says that is fornication. You only sleep with a girl if you're married. The problem is our generation is actually having a lot of rampant sex. Now in church, again, we have to talk about it. Because people are sleeping with each other at a very terrible rate. Okay? So we have to talk about it itself, okay? All right, she has a question.
Don't you think there are people who are naturally unromantic? Like us, like I feel like there are people who are naturally unromantic, and like you said that even if you do not know, you need to learn or you need to ask around. But on the other side, I also feel like when it's not natural, there is where you feel like you're forcing things, like, and I also feel like we have very different ways of being romantic. Because for you might think being okay, you're romantic might be those nice words and compliments, but me, I might be romantic in a way of dissing you. Like I like dissing you, and I love it. It's romantic. So what do you think about people who are naturally not romantic, and people who have funny ways of being romantic?
Thank you, Agnes. She asks a very important question, and I think the question is attributed to personality. You see, ladies and gentlemen, when you are dating, that's in the primary stage, one of the other aspects is you seek to explore the other person's personality. She talked about dissing. Yes. So you see, my personality is very different from some other person's personality, okay? And that is why not every girl is naturally going to like me because I'm a nice guy. No. Who told you you're nice to her? No. You may be cake to her and then actually rubbish to another one, okay? It's because they're not interested in your personality. So you embody something that does not excite them. That is why she says it's also possible that when you look at 5 guys, some guy looks really unromantic, which is okay. That's how we have been born. But as men, their standards, let me tell you, in this generation, you are not going to date a girl and not give her something. That's a standard. Now, the extent of giving her depends on your ability. Some people give them Range Rovers. Others give them apples. The problem is the ones that give Range Rovers tend to be stingy guys. When you annoy him, he kicks you and takes his Range Rover away. But then this apple guy, you've already eaten it, okay? It's basic. You know what I mean? Okay? Now, I'm not saying when they give you an apple, it's because they are broke. No, it's about the intention. He still can give you a Range Rover when he loves you. That's if he can afford it. Okay? Exactly. But the way they express themselves is what differs. So it's very, very okay. Not every guy can talk to you openly, even when your friends are there. And your friends be like, hey, you have a nice guy. There are guys who are shy. But that's him. Okay? If he's shy, but he ticks the other boxes. But you find a guy, for you, you're saying, me, I'm not romantic. Those things are going to be, I'm telling you, even when she loves you, she's going to be stressed. And the problem with girls are this. Men, listen to this. Girls always, or ladies, always compare their love lives or their associations with fellow girls. So they sit in an association like, how's your guy? My guy? Patange, my guy? My guy? This guy doesn't call me. This guy doesn't know how to gift. Can you imagine? He bought me a dress which is like this. They're like, okay, it's not even my size. I don't even like the color. But I just said thank you. There's a problem. How can you be dating a girl and you don't know what she likes? In the limelight, I am not romantic. She knows I am not romantic. You are not doing homework. Learn a girl. When you're with her, learn. She likes this color. When you go to buy something, give her the chance to express herself. At times, you can be with a lady and she refuses to talk. Not because she can't talk, but she wants to see, do you actually value her or it's about the money? Because you have money burning, you're like, can you have that, that and that and that? It's not about just buying. I actually just learned that. Girls are specific with color, with fashion. If you buy her a dress that 5 of her friends have it, she will not value it. No. She wants to have something unique. She's like, man, every girl is putting on that, I don't want it. Now for you, because you think it is a new dress, you just buy. Yes, so it is possible I am not romantic. I must do homework. It doesn't mean I have to change how I talk. No, it's simple. Do homework. Do homework and still be authentic. Yes, because at times she loves you for that rawness in you. Now, when you start changing, at times it is hard to sustain levels that are not authentic to you. Yes, thank you.
So I think these relationships, personally, I believe we have different personalities, just as you mentioned it. And when she said temper are naturally unromantic, that thing is real, as you confirmed it is. Some people can communicate, some are very expressive, and some have a problem with that. Yes, I've met people who are not okay with you being expressive, who are not okay with you having ideas, who are not okay with maybe how you know something. So you can be there and you think, oh, you okay? As girls, we are like a good girl. There is something about being a good girl and a good man. A professor was once said that a gentleman asked him, when you see that girl, do you think she's good? I want to marry her. I have intentions of marrying her. And the professor was like, it depends. What's your definition of good? It's very important. Yes, you might be good, maybe behavior, maybe good body. Is she beautiful? Does she have a curvy body, a beautiful skin, beautiful hair? Does she have good manners? How does she talk to people? That. So it also helped me to really think about these things. They all lead to, they could be like a web. It links this to the other. So I think it's important that you understand that out there, the people that we meet, different personalities are out there, lurking everywhere. So, yeah.
I wanted to add on the importance of romantic relationships. When she was talking, I think when she was introducing, when she was talking about situationships, she was talking about, she talked about something like, you're just there for company. But I also wanted to say that a romantic relationship gives you more company. Because while in a situationship, you have that company when he or she is there, but then what happens when he or she is not around? Because a situationship, the relationship is there when you two are together or in the same place. That's when you are in love. That's when you're caring about each other. But when you leave or when you're doing something else, each one of you is on their own. But when you are in a romantic relationship, it gives you company enough that someone has to have heads up of everything that you're doing. For example, if I am here on the panel, my partner will know that, oh, Aggie has a panel in the afternoon, and he will want to find out how did the panel go, are you prepared? Which I feel like it's company enough, because why would my situationship care about my panel? Like, they're not interested. Then I also feel like it has something to do with our emotions. They said a situationship, they don't even care about your family or what. So what if you lose like a family member or something happens in your family? So while in a relationship, you have that comfort. Someone gives you that emotional support when you're going through something, because for starters, they are very much aware, like from the beginning, they know she has 3 sisters and this sister probably got a problem, and so they are there for you in each and everything, which you do not get while in a situationship. So you also do some bonding. You do so much bonding while in a relationship. What is bonding? There is so much to do with bonding. So someone knows what you like, and like he said, the romantic part of it, the person is going to make sure probably you always get what you like, or you get to experience things that you like. They know your favorite food. They know everything about you. So there is that bonding. There is that deep friendship. There is that deep craving for each other. You wait so much for when you're going to see this person. You wait so much for when you're going to spend time with this person. You could even be here and you feel like, I'm lonely. I mean, there are like 30 people here, but you're feeling lonely just because your person is not around. But there is this thing on TikTok, they say going home, but then like home is another person. Like you just got someone and you feel like, I am home. 99 problems, one solution. Like you feel like I'm there. Romantic relationships, they also have something to do with, and all that is company, but quality company. I call it quality company because both of you are interested. It is intentional. It's interesting. It's not like knowing, okay, we are here being. But for situationships, you have tied it. People do not need to know that I like him or he likes me or there is something between us. You have tied it. But for relationship, I mean, it's okay. It's company. We can go out in public. You can hug me in public. It's okay. So you people really need to look into actually being in relationships.
All right. Yeah, you talked about bonding. Now we have a prevalent problem. One of the aspects, okay, one of the attributes of bonding is by sleeping with another person. Now that's factual. Whenever you have sex with another partner, you bond. Okay? You bond. Okay? Now, where is the problem? It's for you going in for the sex, as you said, not thinking of the consequences of the act. That is why the Bible forbids it. Where is my question? My question is, what role do you think sex plays in this present situation in terms of bonding? Because there are guys who say, man, how can you marry a girl when you've not tested her? You've heard of those things, right? You've heard of those things, exactly. And then how can you let your man truly know you like her when you don't actually sleep with them? Now, you're not married. We're not talking about married people. We're talking about these stages, either courtship or dating. Where do you think that lays?
Now, first of all, I want to say there are very many other types or ways of bonding outside sex. The friendship you have, knowing that, oh, Aggie likes this, or she doesn't like this, or we enjoy spending time together. And through that bonding, you would even start liking things you don't like. All of a sudden, I like football, which I had no idea about. All of a sudden, I'm even supporting, like, I said no, or something I do not know about, but like, I am so much in his space. We've bonded so much that I know his stuff, which do not even concern me. So I want to say that there are very many other bonding ways outside sex. So getting back to your question of what role does sex play? I feel like sex is actually not good for us when you're still dating or in courtship or whatever it is, because this sex is is about spiritual bonding. Sex is spiritual. When you have sex with this person, that's why it makes it hard for you to wake up one day and be like, this man is not good for me, let me leave. It's hard to make some decisions because you have given your spirit to this person, and so your spirits are so attached. And if we could only wait and have sex when we are married, because when you're married, it's okay, your spirits can bond whatever they want to bond. But when you're dating, sex is going to bring you problems, actually. It's going to drain you emotionally. It's your spirits have, I think, bonded. And so some things will be out. And it goes back to what we were talking about. Most men will actually feel like, okay, I have this girl. I mean, she has given me everything. Because actually, our women, most of the time, our everything is sex, because we do not have much to bring on the table. So you've actually given him everything, and he's like, okay, this girl just gave me everything over the apples I was buying. How many men can buy these apples? How many men can buy these apples? So your value will go down. Like I said, we have a few things we bring on the table. So when you've already given him your highest, so your bargaining power is low. Your bargaining power is low. I mean, even if it were me, like I already got everything. So what more am I going to get? probably even gave me your everything and I didn't even like it. So what more am I going to get? So I, and when you're still young, like maybe you're still at campus, you're still, maybe you're eager, you're like, no, those things of waiting until marriage are for long ago. But it's when you grow up and you actually realize, oh, these things were actually right. So I don't know whether I'm answering you, but I feel like if if you can avoid it, stay away from sex, because it's going to wreck you, it's going to break you, and it's going to hurt you, and it actually reduces the connection, the friendship, the good friendship you're supposed to enjoy.
I don't know the person who authored the five love languages that we have today, but sex is not part of them. And I think, and I think, uh, just to answer your question, I can 100% make sure someone is loved without having sex with them. And then to answer her question that she asked, there are some people who are naturally unromantic, right? Uh, I think even when you're unromantic, at least know one thing that this person likes, you understand? And then be sure that when I do this, this person is going to feel better, like she's going to feel loved just by knowing their love language. Because there are five, but you can't have all of them. Because some don't love flowers, but you might know that they love chicken like me. So you can just get me one piece and I'll be like, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I would like you to educate us about the five love languages, because I do not think I know them.
Okay, I did not revise about that, but there's quality time, there is words of affirmation, physical touch, there is acts of service, the fifth one, yeah, gifting, yeah. Uh, yeah, there is no money. To shed more light. There are some people who really like hugging. Let me say, if they are greeting you and then you are bringing your hand, they'll be like, "No, I want a hug," something like that. Not okay. Physical touch is somehow confusing because of what you have thought in mind right now, but 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 I can. It can be done in public. It can even be done with just the two of you. But don't forget what God's way is in a relationship, because uh, the Bible in the book of First Corinthians, I think, chapter 13, where it talks about love, there is a phrase that says, "Love is patient." Even when at this point the physics and the chemistry is not adding up, you have to think about God. I know it is not easy. It is actually not easy, but we ought to do that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's been really lengthy but very insightful, right? Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Agnes. Thank you, Ronald. Um, how can you tell if a relationship is from God? Let's do this briefly. I want to take briefly. How can you tell if a relationship is from God? Can you actually tell that it's from God? Ronald, please, can I have your take?
Ladies and gentlemen, how can you tell precisely that this relationship, is from God? Okay? How can you tell that this bus that I am boarding is actually headed to Mbarara or to Rukunjiri or to Kigali? You just board a bus and expect to be in Kigali? How can you date a guy for 9 years and you're still waiting? How? 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 Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm simply going to share my opinion. How do you know this relationship? You see, isn't it ironic enough that you're having opinions of people who are not even married, unless if you guys are married. Are you? No, right? No, I'm saying us here. I'm saying us here, right? Okay. You see, yeah, but it's important for us to express our opinions because that's the reality of our generation. This generation holds a lot at stake. So it's important to understand. I think one is we look at the qualities of a relationship. Now we have to benchmark from the Bible. We talked about exclusivity. We talked about communication. We talked about intention. Okay, personality, the bonding. Okay, you like this guy, but for over 9 years is impossible. Okay, for over this time you've known him, there's actually no bonding. Like he doesn't make you have goosebumps. How is it possible? How is it possible for you to like someone and you never actually miss them? That's number one. You like someone, but they are terrible at communication. Let me tell you that these are the small things that build a relationship. Communication, I don't mean picking up a phone, loading 3,000 minutes, and calling the hell out of this girl. No, that is not communication. But when you are talking to her, what are you actually talking about? Actually. Because there are people who will talk for 3 hours with you this night, and then over a period of 1 month, the hours reduce to 0. Last week he called you for 3 hours. This week he has called you for 10 minutes. Then the following week, if you do a little bit of mathematics, he's probably going to say, hi, I am busy. Or never call you again. Okay? The communication is on a downward spiral. There's a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, the Bible has clearly pointed out these things. As you are dating, you establish points of common ground. Common ground. What aspirations do you both share? It cannot be right when you share nothing. What are you doing there? Situationship. Because the problem is one. Even when you don't share common goals, you can share emotional exchange. You can hug, and what comes out of a hug is known, which either parties can want for that time. But after that time, I'm like, hell, did I just do that with that girl? Oh my God, what was I thinking? Then the ladies are like, oh my God, I could even be pregnant. You have not thought before you did that, okay? So, is it God bound? You have to look at these aspects. There must be common ground. These boxes must be ticking, not 100%, but there must be at least consensus from either parties. The commitment is there, the intention is there, the direction is there. Now, the consequences of either you commit are to be found out. That's if you actually commit. But I think those small boxes must tick. Otherwise, I don't think there is a supermarket or hypermarket where you go and actually you find ladies and say she's ready to be married. No. So that's why some people go to witch doctors. Exactly. Could you tell me, do you think we have a future? Because they want someone to tell them what is in the future. They actually don't want to relive the journey to see what the future brings for them. So I think for me, the telltale signs are those. Ladies and gentlemen, if your relationship is acclaimed on red flags, run away, period. God does not want something bad for you. Now, it doesn't mean when God wants something for you, problems won't be there. There's a difference. We could tag along, but get a lot of challenges. That is what makes love romantic and worthwhile. Because you're going to love yourselves through the bad times, but happy times too come. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ronald. Much as you talked about, we have to align what our partners have with what is in the Bible. I also feel like in this age and era that we are in, knowing and actually acting, knowing is one thing and acting is another. So there is actually knowing that, okay, this person is clearly not what God would want me to have, but I mean, like, how do I go about it? How do I get out of this? So this is something that I just learned maybe at the beginning of this year, that if you have a chance, like right now, because I would like to assume most of us that are here are at least 23, 24 and above. So if you are lucky and you're not yet in a relationship, lucky, because most of us get in relationships at 17 and it goes on and you really did not know about much, you really did not know much about the relationship and you just learn on job. But if you are lucky and you're 23, 24 and you're not in a relationship, start praying for the person you want. Start being intentional. Make a list. Days back when I used to pray, I used to write my prayer requests to myself on the list so that when I'm praying, I'm looking at them. I know already God knows them, but I still list them down so that I do not forget. So write everything you need in a man or in a woman and tell God about these very things every day. And do not let yourself find something different when you've been praying from about these certain things, because you have to be patient when you're praying, because you do not pray today and you receive tomorrow. Someone might, but there is need for patience. You need to be patient, and so you need to tell God exactly what you want. So when you tell God what exactly you want, it's easy for you to know that, oh, I prayed for a romantic man. So if this is not a romantic man, it's not for me. It's easy to know that, oh, I prayed for a provider man. If this man is stingy, it's not for me. So it's important for you to pray. And one thing about praying is when you pray, God gives you the courage he was talking about. You even have courage. Okay, if you are praying for a romantic, provider man, gentleman, and then you get an opposite, at some point you'll be reminded, your prayers will remind you, but this is not the person you want. So it can be easy for you to get out of that. But if you just land in a relationship, you might realize after 6 years that, oh, this is actually not what I want, because you did not pray about it. So if you still have time, pray for the exact thing you want.
Something small about that. If you want to know if the relationship is from God, it has to start with you. Her point was so valid that you have to pray to God for that partner or for that relationship. And then after prayer, you have to do what actually God wants. Because most of us pray and then we keep those characters with us that don't align with God's way. You understand? You pray to God for a man who is going to marry you. And then after that, you are keeping him in suspense. Let me say, because of another certain situationship that you have somewhere, or because of something. You understand? We have to also work on ourselves so that God answers our prayers in that state that we actually need them. You understand?
So that's very interesting. Agnes, you mentioned a list of things that you want and everything. Yes, women, we usually have those lists. Yes, but some are written, some are in our heads. But I believe in availing yourself as well to be ready to reciprocate. Yes, we very much want peace from these people, the men that we meet, or even women. You know, men can be like, we want peace, but then you're not even able to give it back. So I think we should be ready to reciprocate, because this is a two-way street. It's a teamwork. So if you're able to, please be able to be ready. You know, be intentional. Even if it's challenging, just be intentional that if you want peace, another person also needs it. If you know, just that's how the ball rolls. So I think we should consider that as well. The list, try to be that person as well that you want. Yeah. So this goes to Linda Massey. Sorry, Linda Janet, my bad. How do you protect your heart before marriage? How do you protect your heart before marriage? How do you protect your heart before marriage?
How to protect my heart before marriage. Okay, it is. hmm. First of all, you have to be rooted in Christ because this is about me. I am going to get into a relationship with someone, and how am I going to protect my heart in a relationship? I'm in a relationship because I think it is for my own good. Because I'm in a relationship because this person makes me happy, this person makes me feel comfortable, because this person like makes me feel good, you understand? But then I think the person who came up with this question knows that somehow, somewhere, our hearts are played with, you understand? Because if you need to protect something, then that means there's something that can bring harm to it. So there are a lot of things that can bring harm to our hearts in this relationship. Some come knowingly, when you actually know that this is going to happen and it is going to hurt me, but you again go for it. You understand? But in one way that I would say I can protect my heart is that I have to guard my thoughts. In the book of Philippians 4, verse 8, says, brothers and sisters, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, think about these things. We should be careful with what we dwell on in relationships. You understand? You are going to dwell on something that doesn't make sense or doesn't take a minute for your partner to do in a relationship. And it is actually going to haunt you the rest of your life. You understand that? When you understand the person you are in a relationship with, and you know that this person can do this to me, and this can haunt me for the rest of my life, you are going to decide on your own. It is you to take that decision. If you are going to withstand that, and you have to continue with this person, only if you can withstand such a thing that might break your heart or anything. But if you really know that you cannot go on with it, then you have to pray to God to give you the strength to end everything. That is number one, that I think I can guard my heart. Then the other thing is being intentional. Okay, some of these points are similar with what we have been talking about from the previous question. Because if I want someone to love me the way I want to be loved, then I have to do the same to them. Because they might do something with no intention of hurting me, but because they know it is my weak point or something, and I did something to them in a similar manner, they might just want to do it because of that I don't care thing that we always have in relationships, you understand? So I think I can guard my heart first of all by seeking God. I have to pray to God. Then the other thing is being what I want that other person to be in my life. Yeah.
When it comes to protecting your heart before marriage, my point of emphasis or the direction I want to take is mental health. Exactly. I think it is very important for you to realize what are the vulnerabilities of your mental health. What's your mental status? And this feeds into self-esteem. You see, as a young girl, how can a guy demean you out of the He say, you thought you're sweet, you're not even beautiful. Okay, how? How? Because you've had an argument and now he's threatening to ruin your life. He's telling you how not beautiful you are. If honestly speaking, your mental health is thick, your self-esteem is up there, then it's very easy for you to resolve conflicts. In other words, how do we end up getting hearts broken or ruined? It's when we are vulnerable in certain aspects. That's when you get disappointed. Your expectations are high and then reality goes south. You end up being disappointed. My heart is broken. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, as we said, the other aspect of dating is dating should help you build resilience. What does resilience mean? As a young man or as a young woman, it should become natural to you that it is possible for someone to say no. You don't have to hang yourself. No, it is normal and natural for someone to say, Ronald, you have lots of love, pleasings in you, but you're not my type. No. Do I have to cry in the shower? Oh my God. You say no. Whoa, whoa. No, it is very, very okay. Pick yourself up, dust yourself up, move on. Period. But if your mental health is on the low, your self-esteem is on the low, you will cry. Whenever you see another girl, you're like, she'll probably say, I'm not her type. Again, you hide behind a curtain. What is wrong with you? If there's really a problem, then seek for help. Yes, counselors are there. We don't go for those, but they are there. I am telling you, there are people who will not ask out a girl because some other girl demeaned them. You find a guy cannot ask out a girl because he had a ruckusful situation. Guys, these things don't define us. They teach us a lesson. Simply learn from your past and courageously move on. Know your interest. As Linda said, I think for me, at the end of the day, I come first. I come first. What I want is primary. Then we relate. But you're putting her first at the expense of you. You're going to get hurt. Thank you.
And vice versa. I think that is interesting. Thank you so much, Ronald. This question goes to you too. Can you be just talking and still lose your peace or purity? Like talking to a person. Is it possible to lose your peace or purity just by talking to someone? Like maybe texting, maybe calls. Do you think it is?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you see, when it comes to God, he's got two camps. You're either on God's side or on the other side. There's no in between. Now, this question points out, or it alludes to the present generation, as you said. You see, we have something called secularism, secularity. You see, secularity fits in the small L liberalism. Have you heard of liberal people? In politics, we have the far right and the far left, okay? But they are liberals. They are not NUP, they are not FDC, they are not NRM. They are there. They serve both parties. You cannot check out a girl just for just. The moment you pick up a phone or you intend to present yourself to her, have an intention. Just means you don't have an intention. You are undecided, but you are there. You are there, okay? Hello, hi. She starts looking at you, but you're justing. Have you seen those things? You text a girl, you put there a situation that makes her think you're interested, and yet it has never crossed your mind that you're interested in them. Now, she's thinking you're interesting, but at the end of the day, she starts sizing you up. You see, these are things you find when you're texting. The guy texts very passionately under texting. You know these things, WhatsApp, blah, 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 blah. He texts, he's on point, but when you physically meet him, he doesn't match up to the game. You're like, but now this guy, I thought this guy was, but his game is this. It's because his intention is just for just. He had some data. He thinks you are a nice girl. He wants to check you out. You can't keep checking girls out. You can't keep checking guys out. Okay? The moment you give them signals, and your signals are false signals, that's what they call just for just. Like, relax. Like, hold on. She's like, but I thought you had come. Okay? It's similar. Let me give you an example. Okay, it's still a secular saying. You come to a guy's home, and he expects, since you've come, we're going to have sex. And you're like, can't I come and visit you for just? Then he's like, really? Just? How can you come? Okay, how can you come to my place 5 times and we don't have sex? Just for just. Guys, we should avoid situations just for just. If you are dating a guy, why do you want to go to his home? Why? I'm asking you, why do you want to go to his home? Okay, you have not thought about it. Now, if you come to his home and he demands for sex, then you look at him and say, can't I actually just visit you? He's like, but I thought when you come, you have accepted. And you're like, give me a break. I have just come to see you. It's like, couldn't we have met at school or given a... Do not build circumstances that put you in a no-go zone or an uncomfortable position. If you want to avoid this, tell him, okay, fine, you want to meet me? Let's go for a restaurant. Is he going to ask you for sex in a restaurant? No. If he asks for that, you're like, no, I don't want it. Okay? But if you come to his home, what if he locks that door? Okay, what if he locks that door? And these things happen with our generation. These things happen. We have seen them in university. You visit a guy, he tells his friends, go away, she's coming. Now, when she comes, the friends lock that door. Then the guy says, you know what? I want this. You're like, no. He's like, okay, you want to move out. Girls, why do you go there in the first place? Why? Why shouldn't I? Exactly. It's still possible you will go there and live with no harm. But if it happens, it puts you in a very nasty situation. Just for just. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you cannot answer just for just, don't go there. Don't start giving wrong signals to a girl just for just. Don't give wrong signals to a guy just for just. Because some guys be like, you are, just like you said, you are eating my apples, but you will pay for them. Some guys are like that. For them, they're intentional. For you, just for just. Hello, hi, can we hang out? Yeah. He gives you the good gifts. You have never asked him, okay, you're giving me the gifts, but why? You're entertaining it. For him, he's calculating. He's like, I will give you gifts for 4 times. The 50, you're finished. You are finished. But you're very comfortable for just. So as Christians, as responsible young ladies and men, I do not believe in just for just. Ladies and gentlemen, everything, okay, I'm an engineer. Now, you see, we have something called the third Newton's law of motion. Action is equal and opposite to reaction. Just for just means there can be an action and no reaction. I don't believe in that. Trust me, for everything you do, you must pay. You must pay in one way or the other. Exactly. Now, if you're not ready to pay, for you only want the other side, you don't want this other side, don't go there. Don't play the game. Don't gamble. There is no just for just. Trust me. Everything must have an intention, hence repercussions.
So, we have talked about relationships that are healthy, that are not situationships. And in these relationships, there is a point of gifting. So, if this guy is gifting me, I am not giving him room, or okay, I'm not visiting him or anything. Is there any possible way that this person will want me to pay for all this in any other way? And it is a relationship, not a situationship. Because this is the same scenario happening in both relationships and situationships. Yeah.
Before you answer, I also have a question. Were you using visiting someone as just an example, or you're serious about it? Because, I mean, as someone I'm dating, I need to know where you stay. What if you do not belong anywhere? What if you are a thief? What if you do not have identity?
Thank you very much. You see, both questions are circumstantial. One, when you're dating, let's do that. The 2 stages: casual and exclusive dating. You see, when you're casual, why do you come to my home if we are casual? You see, casual is the just for just. In other words, you're seeing multiple guys. Then after several rounds of vetting, lady, it was you who introduced vetting, right? After several ladies of vetting, your sample space narrows. Okay? Out of 10 guys, you narrow to 2. There's a Ronald and there's a John. Now, we need to know who is John behind the coats and suits he puts on, who is Ronald. Okay? So it doesn't hurt. Now, this is a strategy. If I am going to see John, I am going to come with 3 more friends. Okay? Yes. No, I'm just giving you an example. Okay? But, ladies and gentlemen, by the time you reach whereby it is comfortable for you to visit him, it means you trust him. It means you trust him. Okay? You cannot visit a stranger. Ladies, I know, ladies do that. You meet a guy over Facebook and you visit him. That is a stranger. They do it, exactly. But I am saying as a responsible lady, think through your cards. Don't just throw your cards. No, think. You're like, okay, fine. What are the risks? I have seen Ronald for 5 months. He comes to church, but I need to know where does he come from, right? Ask him, Ronald, can I meet your parents? If you are dating a girl, it is okay. It is very okay to meet his parents. Is he actually open to introduce me to his parents? If he's staying alone, by the time you visit Ronald, trust me, you must have a point of trust. You must be at a certain level, okay? Now, as Christian ladies and gentlemen, when a lady visits you, why should you front a sex agenda? You talked about it. There are several ways of showing someone you love them, minus sex. That means, first of all, it is choice and it is intention. For me to sleep with you, I must have an intention. It is not circumstantial. Circumstantial, those are one-night stands, those are situationships. No, we are talking about the right thing to do. That means it's okay for you to visit me. But by the time you visit me, you are laying grounds for me to start trusting you, for you to start trusting me. You're not going to trust 10 guys the same way. You're going to trust one. Why? It is because by the time you visit Ronald or John, you are intending to make a final decision. Out of the two, who am I settling for? You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is an investment. Now, for you to reap the results of an investment, you must invest. So you're free to visit. We said reaping. If you visit this guy and this guy has no self-control, you are going to pay the price. Exactly. And as you see, as young guys, we have seen these stories. I have been at college. I have seen girls getting raped the similar way. A guy is very nice, but this one time you trust him. He's like, you're not leaving my room. And it happens, and you know that. But it's equally possible and a reality that you're going to visit other guys and they will respect you. They will do dinner, you know, the romantic things. I cooked for you. They'll have the drinks there. They're like, okay, it's fine. I think it is late. They're even playing responsible cards. They're like, it's late. I think you need to get back home. How are you getting? Can I get a safe bottom? Can I get an Uber for you? Those guys are also there. But even the other type is there. The question you asked is, how do we know? Exactly. So at times, one, you have to invest, and you see, relationships require you to move an extra step. Ronald can be good here, he ticks all the boxes, but behind this flamboyancy is a dark side of him. How will you know? You must start asking those hard questions. You must visit, if you must. And then when you visit, it's when you actually learn. Because if you've dated guys and never visited anyone, then you will never know. So I think I just gave it as an example, just to answer that. It's just an example. But by the time you visit someone, you must be at a given level, not just because they visit. No, because when you're there, it may require you to answer questions that you may not be in position to answer. Exactly. Even talk about it. Ronald, I'm going to visit you, but when I come, we're not talking about sex. Talk about it. Why do you leave it? Talk about it. Set boundaries, set limits. Say, I am with you, but I don't want this. Because whenever you're with a guy and you don't set boundaries or limits, you talked about touch. Tell him, Ronald, we love each other, but don't do this. Don't do this. So that he knows. Because when you keep quiet, he thinks you have allowed. Now remember, this Ronald is thinking, Kumbe for you also like, I hope he doesn't do it. But you have not set limits. You have not set boundaries. I would love to know, you as a lady, what are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable with hugs? Just cuddling or just handshaking? You're like, keep your love there. I know you love me. Don't kiss me. Why do you allow a guy to kiss you? Because you know after kissing, maybe something else is going to result. Set boundaries. Set boundaries. Be clear about your intentions. Be clear about your objectives. As long as you're not clear, we're going back to just for just. Something is not clear. Maybe she wants it. Now for me to show her that I love her, I must push for this agenda. If she's clear, you will know, she told me, Ronald, don't take me to that direction. I expect this and this and this. That means I play within that. And if I play otherwise, she will say, but you told me, Ronald, we wouldn't talk about this. Why are you doing it now? Now that's a mature lady. Oh, that's a mature guy. Okay? But people who are immature are open. You want it, I'll give it to you. okay, maybe let's just do it. Maybe she'll tell me along the way she doesn't want it. Guys, don't gamble with your life.
A simple question. Of the two parties in a relationship, who is responsible for setting boundaries?
Who is responsible for setting boundaries? Both of you, because each one of you has boundaries. There is what I do not want, there is what he does not want. So I think it's two-way.
Yeah, I would be very different from you. It's two-way. Exactly. Ladies are naturally creatures that are meant to be provided for or protected. Okay? Now, there's one problem. A man majorly bases on testosterone, those hormones, and they are assertive. Exactly. At times, even when you're dating, a guy wants to behave like he owns you. Set boundaries. He doesn't own you. He hasn't even paid dowry price for you. How can he start saying, no, Linda, I don't like it when I see you talking to those guys. Give me a break. He has not paid your dowry price, but even when you marry a lady, she doesn't lose the right of having male friends. No, but we set boundaries. If you are married, there are things you don't do with your male friends, okay? You're setting boundaries, okay? Exactly. If you are a guy, there are things you want and expect from a lady, okay? Simply let her know. You're like, you see, my personality doesn't do this. Or this is what I expect from you. Then she also tells you this is what I expect. Now that means you are setting the demarcations over a playing field. I want you to imagine we are playing soccer and there are no goals. There are no goals. Or there are no, those sidelines where to say, okay, now the ball is out of play or it's on play. I want you to imagine what kind of football that would be. You just kick the ball. Oh, it goes. Oh, it goes. You must set limits in a relationship for it to have meaning. Otherwise, it will become dimensionless. Now, that is too much for you to handle. You know that? You like a lady and she keeps picking other guys. Oh, my God. You are my girlfriend and you keep picking guys. You're like, no, I'm just picking them. No, 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 no. We set limits. They're your friends, but, maybe, again, I think I'm clear. It is for both sides. Set limits for you to have a level playing field. That means if someone goes out, it is where we argue. We're like, but we agreed. We agreed you're supposed to do this. We agreed when you have the salary, we save. But now, instead of saving, he's buying a car. We don't have land. He's buying a car because he has money. Boundaries means we set our goals. They are to play in a given defined zone. When someone moves out of the zone, then maybe they are breaking the rules or the rules of engagement. Then we can hold them to account. If you don't set boundaries, you can't hold someone to account. She's like, yeah, but I thought I could do whatever I want.
Thank you so much for that. There is this for Agnes. What are some red flags that this relationship is not God's way?
Red flags are very many. But apart from the ones that are about God's way, I would also want to talk about personal red flags. So first of all, for red flags that are not God's way, it takes me back to what I was talking about, to what you prayed about, or what you told God about, what you expect of your relationship. So if you wanted a man who is A and you're getting B and is doing something that is so out of what you expect, he's asking you to sleep with him when you're just dating, he is stopping you from going to church, he does not know anything about God, that's a red flag on God's side. But when we come back to what you as a person look at as red flags, I feel like there are general ones and then there are personal ones. So of course the general ones we shall have maybe a man who cheats, a man who does this and this. a person who does not communicate, a person who is a cheat, a person who does not give you attention. So I feel like some are general, but I want us to also look at our personal red flags. Because when I was in school, when I was at campus, when I started dating, sorry, Pastor, I started dating when I was still in school. I don't know if that's okay. But when I started dating, this person I was and I am dating was a very is a very serious person, parental like sometimes, and I was not allowed to be on phone or online when I'm expected to be in a lecture. And so I learned that. And so for me, one of the red flags, if any other man texted me like on a Monday, can I see you? Like, that's a no for me. I block you right away because what do you mean you want to see me on a Monday? Like, I am in class. So those are personal things. So I feel like apart from knowing God's side, you should also know what you want as a person. No, 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 no. I do not take such people serious.
Thank you so much. That's really interesting. So at this very moment, thank you so much. I'm going to invite two contributions from the audience about this.
Uh, Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Hopakum. Mine is a question. I'm like, who is responsible for taking the first step? For example, besides, okay, let me ask the question. Who is responsible for taking the first step? For example, you've been in a relationship or courtship, and now you are, of course, heading for marriage. But who is supposed to take the step? If you are, a woman could, a woman could introduce you to her parents, like give you all the signs. But then a man is there. The parents know you, the sisters know you, everyone knows you, but you are there. You work under pressure. You get? So who is like really responsible? Because a woman you can't come out and then you ask a man. But I don't know. I don't know. It's the man supposed to do it. Then the other thing, I think some relationships, like serious relationships, come from those situationships that people have been trashing. You know, you meet someone, you be in a situationship, and then you realize you need more. You One thing about strings, they will always attach. So you could come from a situationship, you jump into the relationship, like you realize there's something more you need from this person. And then you guys said about dating that you can date. So are you like saying uh, one person can date over 10 men because they are trying to tick their boxes, because they are looking for that one person? So they find random men. I'm dating from Musda, I'm dating from Jericho, I'm dating from Chambogo, I'm dating like very many men because I'm ticking my boxes. I mean, you do not come to me telling me why am I cheating on you because I'm looking for someone, right? So what am I am I really allowed to be in dating and then having multiple partners?
the first question was about who should take a step. Traditionally, men are supposed to do that. But then you brought out a good point that you take him to your parents, you do what. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Even when you're waiting for him to take a step, avail yourself. Let him know that you're actually ready. Let him know. And one thing we talked about building a bond or building a friendship is that the communication is easy. Like communication is easy. You can actually ask him, but like, okay, I know it will feel like, let me just give this from a personal experience. I overheard her saying they will think you're desperate. Okay, don't be direct. Be like, bring like a conversation, like, oh, by the what would you want me to wear for our wedding? See what he has to say about it. If he's avoiding the question, be alert. Bring it like, oh, see like pictures of other couples and be like, our family is going to be like this when we get a family. See what he has to say about it. So if he is shining off from those questions or avoiding them, run. You also talked about some, yes, let your parents stop you from actually finding the love of your life. Let them not stop you. Then you talked about something like if you're seeing many men, they're going to say you're cheating. Now, while asking that, you did not give an explanation of what you think as dating, but I could tell right through your words that your dating has strings attached. Like you said, that strings will always attach. And let me just try to break down what dating should be, not what dating is. Dating should be like, I know Ronald, I know Mazinga, I know Pastor, and we are just friends. There is nothing like, that girl is mine, that's my girlfriend. If you are already on that stage, you're doing what you're supposed to do in courtship. So I already called it vetting. Like, there are just many men you're seeing from a distance. If you want to take you out, well and good. Don't reach there and start hugging for 5 minutes because you are the one taking your strings to get attached. So when you're seeing these men in a distance, vetting is easy. But now if you want to hug for 5 minutes, if you want to have calls for 2 hours at midnight, you are letting your guards down, you're letting your strings attached to his. And that can make you make a mistake. That's why you're asking, even if my parents know I can still break up, yes, you can still break up because your parents are not the ones going to be in relationship with this person. It's actually you. It's actually you. If you fear your parents and go with a toxic man or a man who does not love you, you are going to suffer it yourself. And in suffering, you'll actually hide it from your parents because normally we do not tell these things to our parents.
Thank you, Agnes. I would also love to ask you a question. Is at the end of this or at the base of this, what's your self-worth? Because it looks like you're fronting the other party before you. Now, do you know your self-worth? That's number one. That's a question to you. It's food for actually not you alone, all of us. Do you know your self-worth? That is number one. In dating, no one owns you. The mentality is wrong at all. I am telling you, it's a vetting. It's okay for you to see multiple people just to vet. No strings attached. Her allusion is what actually happens these days. Is we jump the preliminary steps, and whenever you say, this guy has called me for a date, already emotions are mixed, okay? You expect hugs, you expect to play the darling part, holding hands, cuddling, being sweet, being cool. It is simple. It is on a casual basis. It should be on a casual basis. It should be. Now, what we actually do at times is not that exactly. Now, if you expose yourself to emotional vulnerability, strings are gonna attach. So how can you be dating people and then I claim you're cheating on me? How? On what basis are you cheating on me? Maybe if you're talking about sex, because if we are not married and we have broken that rule, then we said, you know what? We have fornicated, but let's keep it between us only two. Now, if he goes to do the same thing with another person, straight out, then again, that's another capital offense. It is a problem on another problem. So, but let's avoid all that. So in dating, it's the stage. You are just seeing a person to vet. It's what it should be. In actual sense, it's not what we do. We actually allow ourselves to be emotionally vulnerable. Now, that's a problem. But it's okay to see so many people. Then eventually, you must make up your mind. What do you want? What's your self-worth? You're not going to see 10 people for 10 years, for 9 years. No. After some time, narrow it down to 2 or 1. And that is a courtship. If you think it is 1, things are aligning, then pursue a relationship along the line with the 2 people. You can't keep seeing 10 people, but those people are also there, very undecided. Over time, girls keep coming. You come to Boobs, there are so many beautiful girls. You go to KCCA, so many beautiful girls. You go to Makerere, Chiwunya, so many beautiful girls. You come to Namugongo, so many beautiful girls. And you're amazed, you're like, wow, Katonda Yatonda, my friend. Even when you go to the US, there are still beautiful girls. Make up your mind. At one time, you talked about who initiates. You must make up your mind. If you are dating a guy and you are a lady, I am telling you, traditionally, ladies are meant to play the silent part, and the guy is supposed to lead. If the guy is not decisive, what is your self-worth? What are your boundaries? What are your objectives? What do you want? Because I said you come first, not the guy. Because at the end of the day, the people who are going to see you are not going to get married to this guy. It is you. Not even your parents. It is you. What do you want? If the guy is not moving, give him a kick. Give him a kick. See how he moves. If he is stagnant, he's not moving. Girl, you are worth $1 billion. You are priceless. Okay, run. Run away. Run away. It's not moving.
So this is the last contribution because we have a pending program. Oda is going to conclude with this submission, then we shall.
Thank you, the team. I'm so humbled that the submissions you people have submitted, they are very heavy. Amen. Actually, I'm humbled. May the Lord grow you more in that research and study. You might be a big salvation to our church. However, a situation, I'm like my daughter here. That's something I didn't know at my age of being in church, or even it's description, as I would say, yeah, it looks to be a phenomenon. And to me, from the little I have understood it, it seems to be a drainer of resource and a cause of restlessness to those that God has already rested in Christ. Yes, church. Never be on planet Earth when you have believed, like you people, and who have gone through the Holy Communion, and then you have no peace. Nothing should destabilize your peace. Be it relationship, be it finance, be it if the finance, be it your honest part. If it is relationship, just target functional ones. If it's for business, I am relating with this friend of mine for business and a business partner. Or I am relating for marriage. First, we are humbled for your presence this afternoon. The team here has been so good to me. We are thankful. Yeah. Now, in brief, Elder, I'm not making a verdict, but this is my passion. You will correct me if I'm wrong, or you will. Yeah. I think as Seventh-day Adventist Christians, this is one of the things we must correct, like we are correcting the Sabbath for the entire planet. That is now a situation. It should not come in. Because he said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavily laden, and I will give you what? Rest." And that situationship is all about turbulence. How can you be in a project and you don't know what it's all about? With its end. And we call that one functionality. Even the right person who would have taken you might not take you at the right time. And in the end, you may not even get any person in life because someone whom God had ordained went away, so thinking that you were already taken. Yes. Now, there's what we call the absentee curriculum. Have you heard of it, Elder? Yes. There's what we call the absentee. Everybody? The absentee curriculum. Now, that curriculum has, it is a course unit, but it is a course, but it has about 21 course units. But what I've had you presenting by God's grace, that's why I've thanked you so much, cuts many course units, a little bit of many what? Course units. Yours was what we call touch situation. How far is far? What you were handling. Yes. Then you also talked about love language. That's another course unit within the other absent what? Curriculum. Yeah. Now, those are course units which have heavy materials and fully fledged. I agree with you. Sex is not part of the love language. You are right. About 5. But when you go into detail in touch situation, touch, physical touch is one of the expressions. And sex is counted as a physical touch. Let me submit that in humbleness. Yes. Sex, among the five love languages, sex is under physical touch. And it is called the most intimate of the physical what? Touches. And that's why there are some touches that are before that sometimes lead to it. And those who are married, you will appreciate that better. That's why that course unit has notes that guide you even how far to touch somebody, why and who and why and at what and even when it is a healthy relationship, at what level should you touch a certain type of what? Touch. And all touches have meanings. All touches are communications. Exactly. So you are communicating something. Now, I thank you, my son. You love Buddy so much. Thank you so much. You talked of sex and whatever, those points you put in. You were more than right. And those are covered, the details of sex and its negative effects. Yes, it has basically negative effects. In dating, in courtship, even after introduction, even if you are introduced, there's no license to sex. Many girls try to go for a relationship for sex after they are introduced. They think they have been taken. But until the pastor says, I do, until the girl says, I do, or the boy says, I do, that's when you are given a license to sex. What they call a marriage certificate, which they show you when you are married. Let me share something very interesting. That document is so heavy. It is a small paper. It is a paper. But it is not just the marriage certificate. It is much more. Somebody asked me, what is it? It is the license to sex. Somebody say hallelujah. It is a license to what? Sex is the topmost business under the sun ever given to mortals. Exactly. Thank you so much. As long as the two of you what? Live. Now, sex is top business among all businesses ever given to mortals under the what? Sun. And if you license a small shop of hardware by Uganda Revenue Authority, couldn't God, the Father, license sex if it is a top business? So that marriage certificate the pastors give us, we thank you pastors, you do a good ministry because that is a divine ordinance. We talked of ordinances in the morning and we talked of Holy Communion as being a divine ordinance. So sex is also a divine what? Ordinance. And so only those who are licensed by the marriage certificate, which we call a license to sex, must undergo it. Must under what? Go it. So your burdens were very heavy and were very important. Therefore, in the absentee curriculum, there is a course unit which guards us against undergoing premarital sex. Premarital what? Whether you are in what do you call it? What? Situationship, whatever. We have that course unit. That course unit is called when is sex best? AM or PM. There are 25 reasons. Yes. There are 25 reasons that show the evil of sex. Before what? Marriage. They are under that course unit. And I was happy with you when you did not answer because I was tricking you in the morning. You people were very bright. Pastor, I thank these people there. They beat me out. I asked them in the morning here. I asked them, try to tell me whether it is best in AM or M. But I was happy with them. They told me in small voices that let the married people tell you. And I liked that. If you are not married and you endeavor to tell me, you would have many other questions to answer later. But you were very good. So that paper handles on the evil of premarital what? Sex. There are 25 evils. But only knowledge of one evil makes you hate it. And then you run from it. Amen? Yes. So AM doesn't mean time. It means after marriage. PM doesn't mean in the evening. It means premarital. How many of you are saying, hey, that is coded? Yes. Now, we say, why marry? There's another model. Why marry is more important than marriage. So, if you are going to be married, you must have, if you're going to begin a relationship, and the relationship is tending to marriage, as I'm trying to highlight and to add, then it must have core reasons and objectives of why you are beginning a relationship, which you have been endeavoring with. Yes. And now, those objectives bring you to what we call a course unit called breaking up without breaking down. Yes, there's the way you can break up a relationship and yet you don't what? Break down. It's very humbling. It comes from the gospel. It gives us what? The answer. So in it there are 3 reasons for beginning a relationship. 3 what? Yes. 1 is the consolidating your partner in God. Can you imagine? Very highly placed. Consolidating your partner in what? In God. The second reason is help here and now on world issues, helping one another. The third one is possibility of marriage. Possibility of what? If marriage doesn't go through, still the other 2 have always have had a toll, and so you remain unhurt. Although you may be hurt a little, but you don't so much yell. You cannot so much break down. Sorry for using the word yell, but you are able, and the other person remains a friend. Somebody say hallelujah. But that means when you sit down in some of your first dating circumstances, you spell them out. You must be explicit. And this person such a person can never call you to home with an intention of, because you spell it out and you also knew who that person is, because you cannot plan a relationship with somebody whose spirituality you have not what? Vetted. Lastly, as of now, the issue of parenting and whatever is being discussed so much here, but you alluded to it. But there's a question called finding Mr. Right or Mrs. What? Right. Yes. In it, you will find out that there are core points to look for in a woman or in a man, and they are nano-core. But unfortunately, it is the nano-core that we highlight so much. And we lose out, and then we sometimes not get the cores, and in the end we may not get the very, very what? Best of all the relationships. But thank you so much, because from the time you you are able to cover some of the core things that you cover in the time. But I believe that more time will be given, yeah, and by God's grace, more expansions on each of these cores of constituents is taught. But even this has been a very good beginning. Thank you so much. Now, unfortunately, this course is not found in any university under the sun. Even Harvard doesn't have it. Some of us thought Harvard is the best. Yeah, it is the best, by the way, but doesn't have it. And many spiritual centers do not have it. Many spiritual learning, what? Yeah. But the good thing, fortunately, it is found in the everlasting gospel. Amen? In the everlasting what? Gospel. When Jesus taught and said, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached. In that statement, and this gospel, one of the cores that the gospel has, that it preaches, is the absentee curriculum. Praise the Lord. That's why I've been bringing in things like rest in Christ, counseling, the other thing which I am running to talk, to pronounce. Yeah, that's why in humbleness I was able to discredit it, because it is bringing unrest, and the gospel doesn't bring unrest. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Pastor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for staying around. Thank you for engaging. I want to thank the panel. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Ronald. Thank you, Agnes, in your absentia. Thank you so much. I look forward to expounding more on such topics. This is very educational, very insightful. I'm just glad that we're given a platform to discuss things that matter, and I'm praying that God guides us as we do this, because it is ministry. We need to correct a lot of things, learn and unlearn a lot of things by God's grace. Thank you so much.